many of you know, I enjoy movies. And there are two in particular I want to point out to you. One movie that's not out anymore, you can get it on Netflix. It deals with the issue of abortion. It's called Unplanned. Powerful movie. Check it out. Another movie, which is now currently playing on the big screen, is called Harriet. It's a true story of Harriet Tubman, who was a slave in the 1800s. She escaped and then helped hundreds of others escape. This is pre-Civil War times. Powerful movie. There's one scene in that movie, Harriet, where she finally escapes her evil landowner, and she goes to the church of a black pastor. His name is Reverend Green. He gives her instructions about where to go and how to keep going north. But just before she leaves, he then says, "Fear is your greatest enemy. Trust in God." Wow. Not only was that true back in her time, but I think it's still true for us. That our greatest enemy is fear. You know, how's this going to work out? How's this going to happen? What's going to go on in this situation? Whether it's relationships or work things or school things or even political things, world issues. We get paralyzed by fear. Now, it seems that the gospel reading deals with fear. As you know, we're getting to the end of our church year. We start a new church year in Advent, December 1st. And it seems that Jesus is talking again about fear and say, woe, and gloom and doom. But a different way to interpret what he says is not that Jesus is talking about the end of the world, but talking about the end of that world, or an end of this world, where Jesus is challenging the people there and us. You got to put an end to the way things are currently going. When you stay stuck, you got to start thinking anew. You got to start recognizing that God is there for you, as opposed to being paralyzed by fear and can't do anything and woe is me. Now, all through the month, we have this seed mosaic up here. It's beautiful. So after Mass, come up and look at it. The theme of it is a better day. A great thought that every one of us is hoping for a better day. We're hoping in our personal lives, in our communities, in the world, that things get better. But indeed, if things stay the way they are, if you keep operating out of fear, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough, and what's going on, things are not going to get better. Now, I heard recently a tip on how all of you can cut down on the presents that you give for Christmas. What you do on Thanksgiving Day, when you gather, bring up politics. Guaranteed you won't have as many presents to buy. And some of you still stay stuck. You're still trying to argue with that relative or something. You're still trying to convince them that you're right on your side. That's not working. As opposed to listening and trusting that God's got this. You don't have to solve everybody's problem. Many times we operate in that fear base, like, oh, what's going to happen? Now, as a parish, we have been committing ourselves to two things of late. We've been committing ourselves to kindness, to be kind. By that, we are trying to be welcoming to all people. We're trying to, again, invite everybody to get involved the best they can. We're trying to, again, open the sense that, yes, we want to be known as a friendly parish, welcoming to everybody. The other thing we commit ourselves to is to be generous. Where we say we don't want to just take care of ourselves and our needs, but we really want to look at what's going on around us. And we as a parish commit ourselves to help others in need. To tell you more about that, I invite our staff member. This is Tammy Creasy. She's our financial coordinator. Invite her to come up. Tammy's been with us about a year and a half. I want her to kind of
Ordinary expenses have decreased over $22,000, or close to 10% over the same period last year. The Blue Bucket offerings were replaced with a 5% tithe from the parish as a whole, beginning July 1. As a result, the parish has been able to give just less than $3,000, or 52% more, to various groups. The 3 recipients for quarter 1 were Act on Alzheimer's for $2,750. The Bahamas Hurricane Relief was $2,750, and the Campaign for Human Development was just under $200.
That's amazing what you've done. So we as a parish have said we want to commit ourselves to helping others, as opposed to doing all these second collections, but to tithe what we have to those needs. It's the whole idea of committing ourselves to be generous. Now there's a social activist, I'm going to get my sheet here. His name is Jacoby Ballard. He once wrote, "Generosity is a response to injustice. We know in our hearts that there is a different way to be, a different way to live. Our generosity with one another is indeed resistance to greed, to fear that oppresses all of us. We provide for one another out of love for each other and love for ourselves. When we give, we acknowledge that all beings simply want to be happy." Now what's happened is that your ability to give has allowed us to give. I know this is true for many people, but it's the whole idea of intentionally giving, what's called tithing. That's just like, I give whatever, but no, intentionally setting aside, this is what I'm going to pledge, this is what I'm going to give to the parish community. And again, Tammy, I want you to share your experience with that.
To the best of our ability, our family does tithe 10%. First, we feel it is our way to show thanks to God, as everything is His anyway. It is our way of helping and loving our neighbors, as rather than giving individually, giving collectively, we can actually produce more. We have experienced wonderful days, and we've experienced a lot of terrible days and everything in between. We have found that God doesn't promise that all days will be good, but He does promise to always be with us. We remind each other often that God is good all the time.
Thank you. Everything that we receive is appreciated. Anything that people give is recognized as wonderful. But not only do we as a parish give financially, but we also give our service. So many of you get that. You step up to help one another, to volunteer in the Mass or be on the committees. We had that sign up about a month ago. You still can do it if you haven't yet. But it's the whole idea, like we commit ourselves to give what we can, our talents. But it also is being generous with your time. Just by showing up to church, which is powerful. It's attending all our programs, our fire programs, our meetings. After Mass, we have hospitality going on downstairs. And we also have free flu shots also going on. Some of you get it. You'll put in your time saying this is of value. But we also recognize that it is your financial support that makes our parish run. So we're challenging all of you to think about what you can give for the year 2020. Because as tithing says, as Tammy talked about, it's not just, oh, well, I got this money left over, or, oh, I don't know what we can do, we can't do anything this month, but intentionally setting aside time and money for God. The notion is 10% of what you make, which 5% going to the church, 4% going to those other great charities and communities, and then 1% going to the diocesan needs. There's a yellow sheet on the edge of your pews. Would you take that and pass that down? I'm going to share on this one. This actually is a copy of the bulletin cover from last week. It explains a little bit more about this whole notion of gives you an idea that when you look at your income, what exactly does 5% mean? 5% being your goal as a person or as a family. There's also 4% or 6%, either monthly or weekly, but it's the whole idea of not living in fear. Say, oh, I gotta hang on to this. I'm not sure how I'm gonna make ends meet, but really intentionally giving. So what we're asking all households to do today is to make a commitment, a pledge of what you can give in 2020. There is a little white card. If you would pass those out, and a pen. I'd like you to ponder on this. We'd like you to fill out the right side that you're going to hand in. It's making your pledge to 2020. You can do that weekly or monthly or quarterly or annually. And that dollar amount, like you say, if you're going to give weekly, this is what I'm going to pledge weekly, or this is what I'm going to pledge monthly. Of course, put your name, address, sign it. There's nothing binding about this card. It's not a legal tender at all. But it's inviting you to be more aware, to become more intentional. Now, for you kids of the parish, we're going to start giving you envelopes starting in Advent. You're going to get your own envelopes. We're going to invite you to intentionally also give back to God. Not your parents' money, not somebody else's, but you, like a penny, a nickel, whatever you can, intentionally to recognize you also have this commitment to trust God as opposed to stay in worry and how am I going to do this? It's like Jesus said in the gospel, it's time we stop that way of thinking, of living in fear and only thinking of ourselves, of really trusting God with the gifts we have and then giving back to God and to the community. We invite you to fill those out. And then on the left side, there's actually, you can tear that off. And that is for you to take that smaller section, keep that with you so you remember what you pledged. What we're going to be doing that is having you drop off these pledge cards in the back of the church. The ushers will be back there. Because it even gets better than that. We'd like everyone here to start making a pledge to kindness and to generosity. We have a huge banner back there that we're going to hang up. I'm not sure where it's going to go, either outside or inside. But we'd like every one of you here to commit yourself to be kind. Stop that way of always having to be a grudge or you're grumpy all the time. And we want you to commit yourself to being generous, whether it is with financial support or whether it's your attitude, your time, your service. The big banner says there, we pledge ourselves to be kind and generous. What we're going to have you do is everybody here, even if you're a visitor today, you can be kind also. I don't care. That's great. You can also commit yourself to be generous wherever you worship. But we're going to have you, and kids, we want you to sign too, because this is for everybody. We're going to go back there, and everybody sign their name somewhere on the banner. As you go back, you that are holding the cards, then you can drop them off in the baskets that the ushers are holding. Recognize we need to stop that way of living in fear, but we pledge ourselves, like the movie said, to trust God, to walk with God, whatever's before us. So when you're ready, come and join me back there. We're going to sign the banners. You can get up. Come on. Sign. More information. For those who would like more information, there's a handout about what tithing means. You can pick that up on the exit. A 4-page. Very good about what does it mean as people of faith to give back to God. And also, as you recognize, on every bit of currency we have, whether it's a penny or a dollar bill here, U.S., every currency we have says, in God we trust. As basic as that. We are called to trust God. Not to live in fear, but really to open ourselves up and say, okay, God, you're going to take care of us. as we are generous so that other people can have enough, and other people will recognize your blessings also. So we thank you for making that commitment. If you didn't get a chance to sign it, you can do so after Mass. Go back. It's pretty impressive, all those signatures. Please stand.